Lewis Hamilton is P20 on Ultras. Kevin Magnussen from Denmark is P6 on Ultras. Max Verstappen in Vierge du Camp is P17. Mick Schumacher from Germany in Vierge du Camp is P5 on Ultras. Max Verstappen is P17. Sergio Perez from Mexico is P16 on Ultras. Lewis Hamilton is P1 up 23.59. Lewis Hamilton is up 27.69 in Vierge du Camp. Lewis Hamilton is up 27.79 in Corby de Signes. Lewis Hamilton is up 27.70 in Corby de Garlaba. Lewis Hamilton improved his P1 with a 142.947. Lewis Hamilton is up 0.11 in S de la Verrerie. Esteban Ocon from France in Vierge de El Hotel is P18 on Ultras. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Best lap is a 142.947. Charles Leclerc from Monaco is P19 on Ultras. Esteban Ocon from France in Corby de Signes is P18. Lewis Hamilton in Vierge de Bender is P1. Max Verstappen is P3. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Alex Albon from Thailand is P20 on Ultras. Best lap is a 4:33.724. 2:50.777 behind the leader. Lance Stroll from Canada is P17 on Ultras. Kevin Magnussen is P15. Lance Stroll is P17. Best lap is a 2:05.838. 22.891 behind the leader. Yuki Tsunoda from Japan is P10 on softs. Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom is P1 on softs. Yuki Tsunoda is P10. Race start. Sergio Perez from Mexico in Ferrari is P2 on softs. Carlos Sainz from Spain is P4 on softs. Esteban Ocon from France in Virage de El Hotel is P8 on softs. Carlos Sainz in Virage de La Sainte-Bonne is P4. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Ligny du Mistral is P6 on softs. Mick Schumacher from Germany is P15 on softs. Sergio Perez in Corvée de Signes is P2. Charles Leclerc in Double Droit de Beausset is P6. Sergio Perez in Corvée de Garlavao is P2. Charles Leclerc in Virage du Lac is P6. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage du Pont is P8. Sergio Perez in Ferrari is P2 in a Red Bull, 0.4 behind Lewis Hamilton. Yuki Tsunoda in Ferrari is P9, 0.4 behind Fernando Alonso. Mick Schumacher in Ferrari is P15, 0.3 behind Lando Norris. Sergio Perez in Ligny du Mistral started P2 is P2, 0.3 behind Lewis Hamilton. Mick Schumacher in Virage de El Hotel on lap 2 is P15, 0.2 behind Lando Norris. Sergio Perez is P2, 0.4 behind Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc in Corby de Signes is P6, 0.4 behind George Russell. Sergio Perez in Virage de Vender is P2, 0.5 behind Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc in Corby de Garlavao on lap 2 is P6, 0.4 behind George Russell. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage de Vender is P8 in a VRC, 0.4 behind Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll from Canada in Corby de Signes is P17 on softs, 0.3 behind Kevin Magnussen. Mick Schumacher in Virage de Vender is P15, 0.5 behind Lando Norris. Yuki Tsunoda in Este La Ferrari is P9, 0.3 behind Fernando Alonso. Mick Schumacher in Virage DuPont is P15, 0.1 behind Lando Norris. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage de El Hotel is P9, 0.2 behind Fernando Alonso. Charles Leclerc is P6, 0.5 behind George Russell. Lance Stroll is P17, 0.3 behind Kevin Magnussen. Charles Leclerc in Double Droite de Beausset is P6, 0.4 behind George Russell. Sergio Perez entering the pits after 3 laps on softs is P2. Sergio Perez is P1. Nicolas Latifi from Canada started P19 is P19 on softs, 4.4 ahead of Alex Albon. Nicolas Latifi was 3.6 faster last lap. Sergio Perez is P2. Lance Stroll on lap 3 is P17, 0.4 behind Kevin Magnussen. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. Carlos Sainz in Virage de El Hotel is P3 in a Ferrari, 0.5 behind Max Verstappen. George Russell from United Kingdom started P5 is P4 on softs, 0.4 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Fernando Alonso from Spain is P9 on softs, 0.8 ahead of Pierre Gasly. Alex Albon is P20. Charles Leclerc in Virage du Lac is P3 on softs battling George Russell. Sergio Perez in Virage du Lac is P7, 0.2 behind Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc in Este La Ferrari is P4, 0.1 ahead of George Russell. Sergio Perez in Este La Ferrari started P2 is P7, 0.1 behind Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc in Virage du Camp is P4, 0.2 behind Max Verstappen. George Russell is P5. Best lap is a 1:46.461. 2.301 off the fastest lap. Max Verstappen from Netherlands is P4 on softs in a Red Bull, 0.5 behind Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez started P2 as P6, 3.0 ahead of Esteban Ocon. George Russell in double droite de Bossette is P5 on softs, 0.4 behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen in Corby de Garlabau is P3, 0.3 ahead of George Russell. Sergio Perez is P6, 2.3 behind George Russell. George Russell in Estelaberry is P5, 0.2 behind Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen in Virage de El Hotel is P5. Best lap is a 1:46.219. 2.059 off the fastest lap. Sergio Perez in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne on lap 6 is P5, 0.5 behind George Russell. Charles Leclerc is P3, 2.0 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell is P5, 0.5 behind Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen in double droite de Bossette started P3 as P6, 2.3 behind George Russell. Charles Leclerc in Virage DuPont is P3 on softs, 1.3 behind Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez entering the pits after 3 laps on softs is P4. Sergio Perez is P4. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. Pierre Gasly from France in Virage de Bender is P10 on softs, 0.4 behind Fernando Alonso. Charles Leclerc in Ligny Droit du Mistral is P3, 1.2 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell is P4. Charles Leclerc is P3 on softs, 1.0 behind Carlos Sainz. Esteban Ocon is P7. Nicolas Latifi is P19. Sergio Perez in Virage de Bender started P2 as P6, 0.5 behind Max Verstappen. Zhou Guanyu from China is P12 on softs. Max Verstappen is P6, 0.1 behind Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez was 3.1 faster last lap. Lando Norris from United Kingdom is P15 on softs. Best lap is a 2:05.879. 21.719 off the fastest lap. Charles Leclerc on lap 8 is P3, 0.3 behind Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc was 0.7 faster last lap. Lewis Hamilton is P1 in a Mercedes-Benz. Sergio Perez on lap 8 is P5. Pierre Gasly is P10 on softs, 1.3 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Valtteri Bottas from Finland is P13 on softs. Alex Albon from Thailand is P20 on softs. Lewis Hamilton in Ligny Droit du Mistral started P1 is P1. Charles Leclerc in Virage de la Sainte-Pone on lap 9 is P3, 0.5 behind Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez in Virage de la Sainte-Pone is P5 on softs, 0.4 behind George Russell. Fernando Alonso is P9, 4.3 ahead of Pierre Gasly. Max Verstappen started P3 is P6. Lewis Hamilton started P1 is P1. Charles Leclerc in Corby de Garlabau is P3 on softs, 0.2 behind Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Sergio Perez entering the pits after 3 laps on softs is P4. Sergio Perez is P2. Nicolas Latifi from Canada is P18. Sergio Perez started P2 is P4, 4.6 behind George Russell. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Virage de El Hotel is P3, 0.5 behind Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. George Russell from United Kingdom is P4. Charles Leclerc is P3, 0.4 behind Carlos Sainz. Mick Schumacher is P14. Best lap is a 1:59.608. 16.511 off the fastest lap. Charles Leclerc is P3, 0.5 behind Carlos Sainz. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage de El Hotel is P8. Zhou Guanyu is P12 in a VRC. Pierre Gasly in Virage du Camp is P10 on softs, 4.8 behind Fernando Alonso. Lance Stroll is P16. Charles Leclerc in Virage de El Hotel is P3 in a Ferrari, 0.4 behind Carlos Sainz. Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom is P1. Charles Leclerc on lap 11 is P3, 0.3 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell is P4, 2.0 ahead of Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez was 1.2 faster last lap. Valtteri Bottas is P13. Sergio Perez is P5 in a Red Bull, 0.2 behind George Russell. Sergio Perez was 1.2 faster last lap. Daniel Ricciardo from Australia in Virage du Pont is P10 on softs. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Best lap is a 1:44.160. 1.063 off the fastest lap. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Aston Martin is P3, 0.4 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell is P5 battling Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez was 6.1 faster last lap. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Virage du Camp is P3, 0.5 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell in Virage du Camp is P5 on softs, 3.8 behind Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz is P3, 1.3 behind Charles Leclerc. Pierre Gasly in Double Droit de Beausset on lap 11 is P10. Nicolas Latifi is P19. Best lap is a 2:14.392. 31.295 off the fastest lap. Lewis Hamilton entering the pits after 12 laps on softs is P1. Sergio Perez in Virage de Vendor is P4. Lewis Hamilton is P1 on supers. Sergio Perez entering the pits after 3 laps on softs is P3. Sergio Perez is P3. Lewis Hamilton exiting pits on supers. Lewis Hamilton is P3, 0.1 behind Carlos Sainz. Sergio Perez exiting pits on softs. Max Verstappen in Virage de Bender is P7 on softs. Max Verstappen entering the pits after 12 laps on softs is P7. Valtteri Bottas entering the pits after 11 laps on softs is P14. Kevin Magnussen is P15. Daniel Ricciardo is P10 in a VRC. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage DuPont is P7 on softs. Lewis Hamilton in Virage Defender is P2, 0.5 behind Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez in Double Droit de Bossette started P2 is P5, 0.3 behind George Russell. Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom in Estelavarie is P1, 1.2 ahead of Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc was 2.4 faster last lap. Daniel Ricciardo entering the pits after 12 laps on softs is P12. Charles Leclerc in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P2. Best lap is a 1:46.472. 3.375 off the fastest lap. Sergio Perez is P4. Fernando Alonso in Corby de Signes is P8 on softs. Esteban Ocon started P8 is P6. Sergio Perez in Double Droit de Bossette is P4, 0.5 behind Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz in Virage du Lac is P4, 0.1 behind Sergio Perez. Sebastian Vettel from Germany is P15 on softs. Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom in Virage de El Hotel is P1. Nicolas Latifi is P16. Carlos Sainz is P4 in a Ferrari, 3.6 behind Sergio Perez. Sergio Perez was 11.3 faster last lap. Yuki Tsunoda in Double Droit de Bossette is P7 on softs. Alex Albon is P17. Sergio Perez in Double Droit de Bossette started P2 is P3, 0.5 behind Charles Leclerc. Mick Schumacher in Estelavarie is P11. Sergio Perez in Virage du Lac is P2 in a Red Bull, 0.3 behind Charles Leclerc. George Russell in Virage Defender is P5. Sergio Perez entering the pits after 3 laps on softs is P4. Charles Leclerc from Monaco is P2, 4.9 ahead of Carlos Sainz. Pierre Gasly in Virage de El Hotel started P11 is P8. Lance Stroll is P12 in a VRC. Charles Leclerc on lap 16 is P2. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage DuPont is P6. Carlos Sainz in Virage de Bender is P3. Zhou Guanyu on lap 15 is P9. Charles Leclerc in Estelaberi is P2 in a Ferrari. Nicolas Latifi entering the pits after 13 laps on softs is P15. Carlos Sainz in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P3 in a Ferrari. Esteban Ocon is P5. Carlos Sainz is P3. Alex Albon is P15. Lance Stroll in Virage du Camp is P11 in a VRC. Charles Leclerc on lap 17 is P2, 2.3 ahead of Carlos Sainz. George Russell in Virage du Lac is P4. Kevin Magnussen from Denmark is P12 on softs. Best lap is a 2:11.280. 28.183 off the fastest lap. Carlos Sainz in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P3, 0.5 behind Charles Leclerc. George Russell in Virage du Camp is P4. Carlos Sainz is P3 in a Ferrari. 0.4 behind Charles Leclerc. Carlos Sainz was 5.0 faster last lap. Charles Leclerc in double droite de Bossette is P2 in a Ferrari, 0.1 ahead of Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz was 5.0 faster last lap. Lando Norris is P11. Pierre Gasly in Virage de Bender started P11 is P8. Charles Leclerc entering the pits after 18 laps on softs is P2. Charles Leclerc is P2. Alex Albon in Virage de El Hotel is P15 in a VRC. Charles Leclerc is P3 on softs. George Russell entering the pits after 18 laps on softs is P3. George Russell is P4. Charles Leclerc exiting pits on softs. Alex Albon in Ligne Droit du Mistral is P15 on softs. George Russell is P7. George Russell exiting pits on softs. Esteban Ocon entering the pits after 18 laps on softs is P5. Esteban Ocon is P5. Alex Albon is P15. Esteban Ocon from France is P5. Yuki Tsunoda entering the pits after 18 laps on softs is P5. Esteban Ocon exiting pits on softs. Yuki Tsunoda is P6. Alex Albon in Virage de Bender is P15 on softs. Yuki Tsunoda on lap 18 is P9. Yuki Tsunoda exiting pits on softs. Kevin Magnussen in Virage du Lac on lap 16 is P13. Fernando Alonso entering the pits after 18 laps on softs is P7. Fernando Alonso is P7. Alex Albon from Thailand is P14. Fernando Alonso on lap 18 is P7. Fernando Alonso exiting pits on softs. George Russell in Virage du Pont on lap 19 is P4. Alex Albon is P14. Charles Leclerc in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne started P6 is P3, 0.3 behind Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz on lap 20 is P3, 0.6 behind Charles Leclerc. Kevin Magnussen is P13. Charles Leclerc in Corby de Signes is P2, 3.0 ahead of Carlos Sainz. Charles Leclerc was 8.8 faster last lap. Fernando Alonso in Corby de Signes is P8, 0.5 behind Pierre Gasly. Charles Leclerc in Virage du Pont is P2. Lando Norris is P11 on softs. Pierre Gasly in Virage du Lac is P8. Best lap is a 1:54.911. 11.814 off the fastest lap. Pierre Gasly entering the pits after 19 laps on softs is P8. Alex Albon is P15. Best lap is a 2:17.797. 34.700 off the fastest lap. Pierre Gasly is P9. Pierre Gasly exiting pits on softs. George Russell in Virage de El Hotel is P4. Zhou Guanyu entering the pits after 19 laps on softs is P9. Zhou Guanyu is P9. Alex Albon in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P15. Zhou Guanyu is P9 in a VRC. Zhou Guanyu exiting pits on softs. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Virage DuPont is P2. George Russell in Virage de Bender started P5 is P4. Yuki Tsunoda in Ligny Droit du Mistral is P6. Best lap is a 1:47.888. 5.215 off the fastest lap. Mick Schumacher entering the pits after 19 laps on softs is P10. Mick Schumacher is P10. Lance Stroll in S de la Verrerie is P11 in a VRC. Lance Stroll entering the pits after 19 laps on softs is P11. Mick Schumacher is P11. Mick Schumacher exiting pits on softs. George Russell in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P4, 3.5 behind Carlos Sainz. George Russell was 7.7 faster last lap. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage DuPont is P6. Esteban Ocon in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P5. George Russell in Double Droit de Beausset is P4 on softs, 0.3 behind Carlos Sainz. Zhou Guanyu is P9. George Russell in Virage DuPont is P4. Carlos Sainz is P4, 0.7 behind George Russell. Sebastian Vettel is P13 in a VRC. Lewis Hamilton in Virage du Camp is P1. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage du Lac is P6. Esteban Ocon in Virage du Camp started P8 is P5. Lando Norris entering the pits after 20 laps on softs is P11. Lando Norris is P11. Alex Albon from Thailand is P14. Lando Norris is P13. Lando Norris exiting pits on softs. Esteban Ocon in Virage de Bender is P5. Alex Albon is P14. Lewis Hamilton from United Kingdom in Virage du Camp is P1. Zhou Guanyu in Double Droit de Beausset started P13 is P9. Fernando Alonso from Spain is P7. Lewis Hamilton in Double Droit de Beausset is P1. Kevin Magnussen entering the pits after 20 laps on softs is P12. Kevin Magnussen is P12. Alex Albon is P14. Kevin Magnussen is P14 on softs, 4.6 behind Alex Albon. Kevin Magnussen exiting pits on softs. Lando Norris in Virage du Pont is P11. Charles Leclerc in Double Droit de Beausset on lap 25 is P2. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Charles Leclerc from Monaco is P2. Kevin Magnussen started P15 is P12. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Virage de El Hotel is P2. Esteban Ocon from France is P5. Yuki Tsunoda is P6. Carlos Sainz entering the pits after 25 laps on softs is P4. Carlos Sainz is P4. Alex Albon is P14. Carlos Sainz is P4. Sebastian Vettel entering the pits after 21 laps on softs is P13. Sebastian Vettel from Germany is P13. Carlos Sainz exiting pits on softs. Alex Albon is P13. Sebastian Vettel started P18 is P13. Sebastian Vettel exiting pits on softs. Yuki Tsunoda in Ferrari is P6. Carlos Sainz in Lignidroid du Mistral is P5 on softs, 4.2 behind Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon was 16.2 faster last lap. Alex Albon is P14. Carlos Sainz in Corby de Signes is P5, 2.2 behind Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc in Double Droite de Beausset is P2. Carlos Sainz in Virage du Lac started P4 is P5, 0.2 behind Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc from Monaco in Virage du Pont is P2. Yuki Tsunoda in Virage du Pont is P6. Carlos Sainz in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P4. Best lap is a 146.626. 3.953 off the fastest lap. Lando Norris is P11. Lewis Hamilton entering the pits after 16 laps on supers is P1. Lewis Hamilton is P1. Alex Albon in Virage de la Sainte-Bonne is P14 in a VRC. Lewis Hamilton is P1.